Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about real estate management. So we're going to create an app for you to manage all your properties or your clients' properties. And we are also going to increase the number of live sessions that we have. So next week we'll have 2 live sessions, one building and one showing a specific feature. We are going to start with Canva and workflows, and it will be on Tuesday and Wednesday that we have live sections. So if you have any questions, just send to us. If you have any requests regarding, for example, today the topic is real estate management. Just ask, and we are going to try to build an app with your requirements or with your suggestions, show you how it's done, and basically that's all for the beginning of the session here. So Cruz, how should we start building a real estate management app?
Cool. So the first thing that we have to think about is the data structure, right? It's not very complicated, but it gives us a hint of what we're going to do, right? So when we're talking about real estate management, the thing that people usually talk about is the difficulty of having the owners, right? The people owning the properties, and then having a place to register all of the properties linked to that owner. And then you have some other processes, like, for example, invoices, or maybe you want to have a CRM for specific properties. So you have leads of people trying to buy that property, which is the case that we're going to build today. So actually, what you have is basically four structures. Actually, you have the owners of the properties. You have the properties, which points to the owners. You have leads, people trying to buy or lease the properties, and then you have the kind of like of the CRM, right? You have the opportunities, which are the leads trying to close the deal on the CRM. So basically, this is the structure, and a lot of other platforms, people try to build stuff for this specific use case, but they lack the tools to show all of the information connected properly. So the idea here is to spend just a bit of time connecting everything, and then show you guys the possibilities in the interface of seeing all of this data connected together, right? So this is kind of the idea today. And we're going to start building. So I'm going to share my screen right now. There you go. So kind of like I said, we're going to have four different kind of structures of registers. So these are going to be our databases in Jestor. And the way we could use AI to build kind of like a structure here, but I'm going to create this manually just so you guys understand how it works. So I'm going to go to the action bar up here, and I'm going to click on create, then table, and then I'm going to go with owners. You could you could create this with a different name if you wanted to. There's no problem. But basically, I'm just going to change the default title and name for title field for name. We're going to create some fields for the owners here. I'm going to leave it mainly as contact info, right? So email and phone numbers. So these are going to be our fields for the owners. We could have more information here, of course. We could have a lot of other stuff, but we're going to leave it at that. And I'm just going to fill out some information here, so we have some data to play with. So we have Andrew, Brandon, and Charles here as owners. And for the phone, I'm just going to make a random. Here you go. So this is our first table, pretty simple. This is all we're going to do for owners. We could have more information, but we're going to skip ahead and build the properties table. So we're going to create a table named properties. And if we think about a property, we have kind of like the name. It could have like a name like Seaside View or something like that. It should have probably an address, a like total amount, a value, so we can like gauge how much that property is worth in dollars, and the address. We could, like I said, we could have more information, but I'm going to stick with these four fields, which I think are the most relevant, at least for this template, right? So we have title. We're going to have the value, which actually it's a currency field, so it's in dollars. We have an address, and this is a field that connects automatically to Google Maps, so it's a little bit easier to work with. So we have title, value, address, and we're going to add a connection to a specific owner, right? So we're going to have a connection field to an owner, and we're going to make this connection, and we can customize this connection a little bit further, right? When selecting one of the owners, we can sort, and we're going to sort by name. I think it's a little bit easier that way to find the correct owner, and we can customize the style, right? The color and the icon that's going to appear when I connect something. So I'm going to go with this, and there you go. So now we have a property that has a title, it has a value, it has an address, and it has an owner, right? And actually, one of the most important things is I'm going to add an option field, and I'm going to go with status and active, or actually, in this case, available, right? And unavailable. Because the idea here is that I can have a property in my database, usually because I have like a history log of stuff that passed through the CRM and such. But I don't want to be able to select properties that are unavailable. So I'm going to make this field so it's a little bit easier to know what's available, what's unavailable, right? So there you go. So let's put some information here as examples as well. So we're just going to get any address in California, and then Washington, and then I don't know, Seattle. Of course, this is getting the state, so it's going to be just pinned to the state. If I wanted to, I could have a more specific address. This is connected to Google Maps, but this is just so we have something on the map, right? So we're going to select owners here. So they now have owners. We're going to make them all available. And we're going to add some random values here. So I don't know. Like, there you go. And we're going to add just some information here. Penthouse. Of course, those values are absolutely like random, but it's just so we can have some information here. Okay, and one other thing that I'm going to put here, because it will look nice and it makes sense to have this, is a field for as an image as a cover, right, of the property, the cover image. And then we're going to have attachments for other files. It could be more pictures, it could be some like registry information, some PDFs, and so on. So for properties, we're going to leave it with this structure. I'm going to later on come back to this and add a cover image, but we're going to leave it like this for now. Cool. So now we're going to create a new table, and these are going to be the leads, and I'm going to put properties here because I already have a table called leads here. So just to make things a little bit easier to find, I'm going to add a second name here. So we have leads. We're going to change the title field to be name once again. And just like owners, we're going to have an email and a phone number. There you go. So now we're going to add more people here. Dave, Elizabeth, and Faith. Don't remember any name with F, so there you go. So let's just finish this with some there you go. Cool. Now we have leads for the properties. And now we're going to create the last table, at least for now. If there's time, we can make this template even better and add some other processes. But for now, we're going to create a new table for the opportunities. And I'm going to add prop as in properties. Cool. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add some other connections, right? So what we're going to do now is create a connection for a specific property. We're going to sort alphabetically. We're going to change the color and the icon. And one thing that we're going to do here is we're going to filter these conditions, and we're only going to be able to select properties which have status is available. So as soon as a property is not available anymore, we're not going to be able to select these in the CRM, right? We're also going to select a lead. There you go. And we're going to do the same thing of sorting and adding a specific icon and color. There you go. So if we think about this as a CRM, there's a bunch of stuff that we can add here that is specific to property management, but I want to get the basics right now. So one of the things that we're going to do, because this is going to be seen kind of like a CRM, is to add a option field. So these are my stages, right? So this field is going to be called stage. So we're going to have a stage for new, first call, visit. So the person is going to, the lead is going to visit the property, proposal, Then we can have papers sent. Then we can have one, and we can have lost or archived. There you go. And we can measure the SLA, the time this opportunity spends in each stage. So we're going to toggle this on, right? So there you go. Cool. So we have the stage, we have the lead, we have the property. We can have a text as a description, right? So specific information about that negotiation. And then we can have attachments. So these are the documents received or sent, like the contracts and so on. And we can have a currency field for the proposal, the amount that that lead proposed on the property or something like that. Cool. And because this is going to be seen as a CRM, I'm going to create some fields that are going to be used on the cover of the Kanban board. So we're going to want tasks. So this is just a mirror of the tasks feature, right? So if we have a task for this deal, it's going to appear on the cover of the card. We're going to have the same thing for the chat. So if I have comments, I'm going to be able to see that I have comments. If I have a team working here and someone mentions me in this conversation, I'm going to be able to see these pretty easily, right? Just from the cover. So we're just going to fill out some information here. So we can finally get started on building the app itself, right? So I'm just going to select some things here. And I'm going to go with 700,000 here. Side view. There you go. And there you go. Cool. So now we have the basic structure, right? We could keep adding more stuff. For example, in properties, maybe there are restrictions, maybe there are informations that you want to have tags, right? So this property has a little bit of damage on the lawn. This property has 1, 2, 3 bedrooms and so on. We could do that later. I just want to reiterate that you can keep expanding on this. You can have more information and you can have a lot of flexibility in what kind of information you can have here. But now we're going to start building the interfaces just to give us a better feel of how this is coming along, right? So let's create, now instead of a table, we're going to create an app. And we're going to call this real estate. There you go. One thing that I'm going to do is customize the colors, right? This is building in dark mode by standard. We're going to give it a different background color. We could have an image as well, but I'm just going to leave it as a very light gray. And I'm going to disable page scrolling. So this is going to make it so the app is always the same size on any screen, and you can't scroll down to like the rest of the page or something like that. So I'm going to disable this and I'm going to save. There you go. So I think that for the main page, I already want to have the opportunities, the CRM itself, and then we can have pages for the owners, pages for the properties, and so on. But the main page, I'm going to make it so it's kind of like my CRM, because on a daily basis, I think this is going to be the most important part of the process, right? So there you go. I've just going to, there you go, create this. And you can see that it already detected the table that I was building of opportunities. Of course, I could, if it, I wanted a different table, I could just select here, but it's already on the correct one. So we're just going to leave it like this. Okay, so now I have to decide what kind of information I want here on the cover of the card, right? So created by, created at. This is kind of like it's important information, but I don't need to see this at a glance, right? So I want to have the property. The property is a very important thing to have at a glance. I want to have the lead, and if they have already proposed some amount, I'm going to want to have the proposed amount here. And then I'm going to select tasks and chat. And these are the mirrors that I said beforehand. We're going to create some tasks and comments later so you guys can see how this looks like on the cover of the card. But for now, that's it. Cool. So what I'm going to do here is change the color of the card. So it's in dark mode. I want to have it as a white card. I'm going to make the card smaller. There you go. So I can see, I can have more stages at the same time on screen. And for now, I think that's it. Cool. There you go. So one other thing that I'm going to do here, I'm going to create a title bar. And this is important because I want to have a button to create a new opportunity, and I want to have a place to pin my search filter later on. So I'm going to go with this title bar. And I want to have this button to add a new opportunity. And the label is going to be new opportunity. And for the forms, I'm always going to select default table form. For those who don't know, this is the panel, the window that is going to open when I try to create a new card, a new opportunity, or when I edit an opportunity or a lead or an owner or a property. We haven't configured these yet, but we're going to do so later. And for now, I'm going to create this. And now I'm going to create a filter, a custom filter, which I'm going to call custom filter. And we're going to have, for example, a quick filter for a property. And the filter type is going to be record ID, which allows me to select something from a table. And I'm going to select a table from the properties table. And then I'm going to filter the components here, the Kanban board by the property, right? So I'm going to create this. I'm just going to create this filter. It's just to show you guys that it's possible. We could have more filters. We could have more flexible filters as well. But I'm going to create just this one for now. And I'm going to ping this to the title bar by editing the title bar and going all the way down here and selecting the custom filter that I've just created, right? Cool. So this is how it looks like currently, right? So I'm just going to edit this icon here because I'm going to use a side menu. There you go. So I'm going to select a color and an icon here. There you go. And now I'm going to use a menu bar, which is the side menu. There you go. So the title, I could have, instead of having the name of the app up here, we could have the logo of our company, right? You could just upload an image here, and these would substitute this name here for the logo of your company. But we're going to make a white menu. Let me see if a blue menu works well. I think it works well here. So I'm going to leave this menu blue. I'm going to remove the favorites. And you can see that I'm customizing the menu for navigation here. For now, I'm going to have a folder for the app, which is just going to be this here. And I'm going to have a folder for the databases, which are the tables that we've just created, right? So I'm going to add the opportunities table. This is just to make my life a little bit easier, right? Because if I want to edit the tables later, it's all in the same app, it's all in the same menu. So it's a little bit easier navigation wise, right? And lastly, we have the leads. There you go. So this is the menu, and I'm also going to remove the shortcuts. I'm just going to leave the standard navigation here. There you go. So this is how it's looking like right now. We have the deals, and in the deal we have the property and the lead information. And if I open this, you guys are going to see that I have all of the information from the opportunities here, and I have some tools here that I can use: the chat, the tasks, the SLA function. All of these are here. We're going to customize this as well. I'm going to show you guys later. I just want to create two other pages, basically, which are a page for the owners and properties. There you go. And I'm going to customize this as well, make it light mode, just like I did before. And this part is going to be just a table of the owners, but there's one thing that we're going to do here as well, right? So I'm just going to rearrange this. So this is going to be the owners table. Okay, so this is the owners table. I'm going to select the fields. So I have the name of the owner, the email, and the phone number. There you go. I can customize some stuff. I'm going to sort alphabetically. Makes more sense here. And also I'm going to remove the grid lines and the icons of the fields. So this is going to give me a bit of a cleaner look. But one thing that I'm going to do here, so okay, this is just the owner's table. We already had that directly on the database. But one thing that's cool that we can do here in the app is that we can have these table showing all of the owners. We're going to have a filter up top here later. But now we're going to activate this part of show connected records, right? So I'm going to activate this, and this is going to let me see all of the properties of that owner, right? And I want to see the name of the property. I want to see the address. I want to see the value. Maybe I want to see the cover. I'm going to leave this here as well. So I'm going to push this up here. And I want to see the status, if it's available, if it's not available, and so on. I'm going to leave this as sorted alphabetically as well, and I'm going to save. So now one very cool thing that's happening here, as you guys can see, is that I can like have this collapsible button, and when I open the record of an owner, I can see all of their properties, right? So Andrew has the Seattle property. If I go here to Brandon, I have the penthouse property in Washington, and then I have for Charles this property in California. So this is a cool way of organizing and seeing information from each one of your owners, right? And one thing that you can do as well now that we have all of the data structure ready is we're going to just go back to the menu here, and we're going to go to to owners, and we're going to create a roll up field here. And with this, I can see the total amount of all of the properties of that owner, right? So I can see the total amount in dollars of all of the properties of that owner that I'm managing in my portfolio, right? So basically, I'm doing a roll up of all of the properties. I'm going to sum the value of the properties, and I can have like a roll up for all of the properties and all of the available properties, for example. So I'm going to do both here, and I can select a formatting here option here. So we're going to do currency in dollars, right? So I'm going to create this, and there you go. You can see that I have the total amount regarding all of the properties of that owner. I'm going to add a new property here just so you guys can see it working. So I'm going to have Chicago. And this is also going to Brandon. Label. There you go. Third story apartment. There you go. Cool. So now if we go back to owners, there you go. I think it's going to update now. There you go. We now have 1,640 for Brandon. If I wanted to, I could also add another roll up for number of properties. But I don't think it's necessary here because we have that information on the table when we open, right? But now I'm going to do total available. And it's basically the same thing. I'm going to sum the value, and I'm also going to add a filter for status is available. There you go. So it's the same information here and there, but that's because all of the properties here are available. I'm going to disable here one of these ones. I'm going to disable the Washington property for Brandon. I'm going to make it unavailable. And you guys will see that this is going to update in a minute, right? So if I open this, I think it's going to force an update. Yeah, there you go. So now we have in our portfolio for Brandon a total of 1,640,000, but available currently we only have 850,000, 50,000, because it's the only available property, right? Cool. One other thing that I want to do here is I'm going to go to property, And I'm going to create a button here for, let's see, the connected, add connected. There you go. So if someone gets in touch with me and say they're interested in one of the properties, um, I'm going to have a quick way of creating an opportunity for that property, right? So there you go. And there you go. I'm going to customize the colors. There you go. Cool. So you can see that if I wanted to create an opportunity for third-story apartment, I could click here on Add Opportunity, and it would already be filled out, right? So working just as intended. And now I'm going to go back to the main part of my app. I'm going to create a top bar. I'm going to make it the same color as the background. I'm going to remove these shortcuts here. I think it looks a little bit cleaner. And now I'm going to add that table of owners and properties. And one thing that I can do is I can change the appearance of this. So I'm going to select, instead of lower bar, which is this one that you're seeing, I'm going to add custom icons. And now I can edit this and select icons. They're going to appear here. There you go, owners and properties. I'm going to select something here as well. We can go with this one. There you go. Cool. There you go. So I have this real estate, owners and properties, and so on. And we're going to edit this. Just to add the information that we've just created for the total and total available. And also here on properties, we're going to add that button to create a new opportunity. There you go. Cool. So one thing that I'm going to do now, which I'm not going to do to all forms just to save time, is show you guys what do I mean by form, right? So when we're talking about forms in Jestor, people always think about public forms, and we have public forms, so it's not that we don't have public forms, but in the context of inside the platform, what we mean by forms here is, one, when you're creating a new card here, a new opportunity, a new property, or something like this, and when you open the card, so when you click on the card that it already exists, and this part on the left here is what we call an update form. So we have more kinds of form, but you can think about these two for now, which is the creation form. When I'm trying to create a record, what's going to be shown to the user, and the update form, which is when I'm using the platform and seeing a record that already exists, what's going to appear here, and also the number of panels and tools that I'm going to have here. So right now I have 4 panels open at once, and I think it might look kind of overwhelming depending on what you're trying to do. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to opportunities, and we're going to customize both of these forms, right? So I'm going to quickly customize the creation form. You can see that I can select the window style if I want to see the panel like as a window on the center of the screen, or if I want, for example, as a right side window, which is what I'm going to do here. and then I can customize the form. So just to make it clear, this is what we have right now. So this is the standard form, it works, but we're going to customize this a little bit further, right? So first of all, I'm going to change the title. So I'm just going to call this new opportunity. And I'm going to add a description. It's optional, but just to show you guys what the description is, use this form to create a new opportunity. There you go. Then I have the title, the property, the lead, the stage. The stage I'm going to drag all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to remove the colors, the chat, and the text because this is not relevant now. The description is going to go all the way up here. Actually, property should come first. Attachments is going to be almost the last one, and lead and proposal. I'm going to add the inline block here to make them go side by side. So in the context of forms, we have two kinds of things. We have the fields, and the fields are the fields of information. So these are things that where you're going to input information, which is the fields of the table basically. But we also have forms which are things that add functionalities or usability features to the form itself, right? So I've added inline, which is going to make the lead and proposal fields go right next to each other in the same row. But we have more blocks. We have images, we have videos, we have connected tables when you need to add more than one record at once, and so on. I'm going to disable the form responses because I don't want a copy of what I did as soon as I create an opportunity. And now I'm just going to customize the colors. There you go. And make a smaller title. So I'm going to save, and this is what we had beforehand, right? And if I save here, this is how it looks right now, and in my opinion it looks a lot better, right? But there's also some other stuff that we can do here very quickly, which is if you see here, the stage is a drop-down menu and there's nothing selected. So I want to make this a little bit easier for everyone when using this. So what we're going to do here is we're going to edit the stage, and we're going to have a predefined value of new. So when people are using the form, new is going to be pre-selected. I could hide this field if I didn't want people to create opportunities in further stages. But sometimes you already want to create the opportunity in first call and proposal sent, so I'm not going to hide the field, right? But I'm going to change its style from standard to button-like, and you guys are going to see how this looks like, and now it looks like this. And you can see that the stage part is kind of like a sequence of buttons here, but new was already pre-selected, like I said before. Cool. So we're going to customize the edit form, the update form, because we haven't. Here we can select all of the tools that should be available in the CRM. I want the chat, I want test, I want SLA. I don't want the other ones because they don't make sense right now, at least as I haven't customized other stuff. For the window style, I can select the number of windows, or if it's going to be a side panel, like we said before. I'm going to leave a traditional double window. It's just the form and a side panel. I think it looks, it's a little bit easier to see the information and not get overwhelmed with a lot of stuff, at least while you're trying to get a hold of how the app works and the process works and so on. So for the title part, I'm going to toggle this bracket label as title. So instead of having a title, a fixed title when I open the card, I'm going to have the name of the deal, of the opportunity. And now all I have to do here is customize just like I had customized the other one. So stage is going to be button-like, and it's going to go all the way to the bottom. Proposal and lead are going to go here, and I'm going to add a inline block here for lead and proposal. I'm going to disable form responses, and I'm also going to change the colors. The button color is going to be blue, and the title background is going to be blue as well. There you go. So if I save now, you guys are going to see that the opportunity window now looks like this. And I think it looks way nicer, looks a little bit more customized. And this is already reflecting in the app itself, right? So if I click here on the Dave opportunity, it's going to bring this. And if I click on new opportunity, it's going to bring the side panel here, and I can use this as well. There are two other things that I want to do to finish this off, at least for today. The first thing is I'm also going to customize the properties form, just to show you guys one thing about the image field, which I'm going to use as a cover, right? So there you go. I'm going to use it as a right side window, as a right side panel, right? There you go. And I'm going to customize this. There's not a lot to customize because there's not a lot of information here. But I have the title, the address, the value, the owner. There you go. The status, I'm going to leave these as a radio vertical field. The add opportunity, I'm going to leave it all the way down to the bottom, and it's going to fill the whole of the page. Round full width. Attachments, cover could be, there you go, and I think that's okay. And what I'm going to do here is just go here to cover and logo, and I'm going to use as a cover the cover field, this one. And what you guys are going to see here, just I'm going to finish the colors here. There you go. So now, if I open a record here, this is how it looks like. But the cover part is not, there's no image there. And if you guys recall in the form, I selected this cover field as a cover for the form. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just searching for an image. So let me see. There you go. I think this one is nice. So I'm just going to copy this and come back here and add this cover. There we go. And now you guys can see that I can use this image as a cover for the form, right? When I select this, it has this up here, right? So it looks kind of nice, and for this sort of application, I like to do this just so I can just with a glance know what property I'm talking about, right? And you guys can see that I still have the add opportunity button down here, all the way down here. The last thing that I want to do here is I want to create a dashboard with a map, just to show you guys that you can have a dashboard, and the address field is able to interact with a map. So I'm going to create a new app here, and I'm going to call this dashboard real estate, just so it's a little bit easier to find it later. Same stuff. I'm just going to customize the color.
One last thing that we could also do is to add an agent, just show how to do this. Maybe an agent on the opportunities table, or I don't know. I don't know where you think it's more appropriate, but either way, it's interesting to have like a place that they can just ask stuff, and they will know about the process or about a specific client and so on.
Could be, yeah. So there you go. Created the a dashboard app. So I created also a map component, which I'm going to edit here. And this is just so you guys can see how this looks like, right? So I'm going to call this properties. I'm going to see the properties table. By the, properties table by the address field. There you go. And you guys are going to see that it's going to ping all of the locations, right? I'm also going to create a pie chart just so this doesn't look so like blank. And this is one of the last things that I'm going to do here, right? So you could have a like more complex dashboard with more charts and indicators and other stuff and reports. But I'm just going to do this opportunities by stage, and it's going to look at the opportunities by the stage, and it's going to get the proposed amount. And I also can select some things here, right? So for example, I have donut or pizza charts here. So I'm going to go with pizza. There you go. So I could have more charts here, for example, but this looks fine for now. And I'm just going to add a filter here so you guys can see that the map is also searchable. For example, I can add a custom filter here, and I'm going to select a property, and I'm going to use the record ID filter here because the record ID filter lets me select a property from properties table, and it's going to filter the map, which are the properties, and it's going to filter the opportunities chart by the property as well. There you go. So now I have this custom filter. And just to show you guys, now if I select a property, for example, seaside view, it's going to show in the map, and it's going to filter the chart as well. So let's just add this to this top part, and to finish things off, we're going to do what Banak said, which is adding a chatbot to the opportunities Kanban board. So let's add the dashboard, and we're going to add an icon here. We have a chart for an icon, so this looks fine. There you go. So now we have the dashboard. And we could have more components, more charts, more indicators, and reports on the dashboard. But for now, this is going to be it. Let's finish things off by adding a chatbot, right? So we're going to agents, we're going to create a new agent, and we're going to select chatbot. And this is going to be the real estate agent. And it's going to look at the table opportunities. So it's going to pull information from the opportunities table, right? We could add filters. For example, maybe we only want the agent to pull information from opportunities in certain stages. So, for example, maybe you have like too many cards on new, but not many of them go forward. So maybe you want the chatbot to only have information to things that are from first call onwards, right? But we're not going to add any filters here, just to show you guys that you could. I'm going to add a background color, which I'm going to do the same color of the app. And this is going to be apparent in a minute why I'm doing this. I could add a logo from my company here. I'm going to show you guys where this logo goes when the chatbot is created. I could add a chatbot image. I'm also going to explain this. Main title, I'm going to go with ask for information about the opportunities. Ask me. There you go. Text box description is going to be if you need any info on a specific deal, just ask. And I can change the bot name. So real estate, for example. See bot. And I can add a prompt. I have to add a prompt, which is basically instructions for the chatbot itself. So always be cheerful and use lots of emojis. Here we could have more useful prompt, right? So we could do like always. I'm going to do this. Always provide hints on how to advance opportunities in each stage. For example, this is cool because you can orient the chatbot to help you or help your team, and you could have even more detailed uh, instructions here, and you can also add context links and files for these instructions. So maybe you have like a guideline for the salespeople, and you could just like add the PDF here, and the chatbot would have that context, right? So I'm going to create this. There you go, chatbot created successfully. It's already active, and by default, the way that you access the agents is if you go back to this workspace here page, you have the agents, and you can see the agents that I've already created, right? But I want to have this a little bit easier to use here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to uh, resize here the Kanban board, right? So it's going to go here. And now I'm going to search for the chatbot component. And I'm going to select the real estate agent. There you go. And save. So I'm going to resize this, pull this all the way up here. Oh, I've selected the wrong color. I'm going to fix this. Background color. Yeah, it's the same color. Don't know why. Hmm, maybe I've selected the wrong one. Oops. Ah, this is the wrong chatbot. The one that I created was down here. This is why it was a different color. Okay, there we go. Let's save, and now I can use the chatbot here. If I had changed the logo, it would be here where it's Jestor. It would be the logo of your company, for example. Uh, so these are the synthesis that I had customized with. Ask me for information about the opportunities. If you need any info on a specific deal, just ask. So, for example, give me a list of new opportunities. So I'm going to ask the chatbot, and this is the new opportunity, and it gave me information regarding the opportunity, and it asked if I want more details, and it gave me some hints. Right, for example, you can update the stage, add notes, or assign tasks to move things forward. And speaking of tasks and notes, I forgot to create a task and a chat comment here. So for example, I could go here and uh, schedule a meeting later this week. So I could use the chat function here as a chat and also as kind of like as a notepad, so I can just jot down quick notes about the opportunity. And I can also create tasks. So for example, give him a call. Give Dave a call. This could be like medium priority, and the deadline is Friday. So there you go. I created a new task. So the task is here. It's attached to the opportunity. I can cycle between the tools here. I can see the chat. I can see the task part. I can see the SLA. So how much time the opportunity is in each stage. And if I look at the cover of the card now, I can see that I have one comment in this card and I have one pending task, right? I have a task that I haven't finished yet. So this gives me a little bit more of information just at a single glance. So obviously, there's a lot of stuff that we could do to make this better. We could improve this template in a lot of ways. We could have a better dashboard. We should customize the forms further. We could have other processes here. For example, we could have like a receivables process. So when a deal is closed, we can keep track if the person paid or they haven't paid or something like that. But for as a first version, I think this already looks quite nice, right? And this is very easy to work with, and this kind of view specifically is pretty useful, right? So this is one of the things that people miss in other platforms when we're talking about properties and owners and so on. To have a view in which you can see the connected information and quickly interact and create opportunities and have all of this data working together. So there's a lot of more stuff that you can do, but I think as a first version, it looks quite nicely already.
Yeah, we've built a lot in 1 hour. Like it's a complete app. You can customize, add more charts, as you said, maybe automations and so on. But that's the basic structure for running a business in real estate. As Chris said, maybe you want to add payables and tickets and other stuff, but it's a lot for 1 hour building. And we are also make this available for you guys to just install, change it, use it, and it will be available for free on the platform. If you have any requests or topics that we should talk about or build here, just let us know and subscribe to the channel so you know what we're going to build on the next live, and you can participate, ask for structures, automations, ask questions, and so on. And we'll be here twice a week now, not only once a week, but twice a week. And we are also going to record new guides and explanations about new features and so on. So subscribe to this channel as well. And if you have any suggestions, leave in the comments or go to our next live next week. So thank you guys. Bye bye.
Goodbye.